We're in Chapter 16 of SOLIDWORKS Basic Tools. This chapter is going to cover drawing views, the various types of views associated with a detailed drawing, including the standard front, top, right side, and isometric views, and some more detailed views like sectional views, auxiliary views, broken out views. We're going to begin by creating a new drawing file. And we're going to edit that sheet to be a D-sized sheet by going to Properties. And this is a different way to get to the same dialog box shown on page 16-3 rather. So we're going to go with ANSI Landscape Third Angle Projection. And this just tells us how large a D-size sheet is. D-size sheet is 34 by 22. Okay. On a drawing sheet, we basically have two layers. We have the sheet layer where we're going to put our views, and then the format layer down below here. And we can edit that by adding our own information into those title blocks. So on 16-4, we're going to zoom in down here in this title block area and make a few changes. If we right click, we can, whoops, let me escape out of where I am here because I'm already there. If we right click, we can go to Edit Sheet Format. Notice there's a little return arrow here as well. And we're going to begin by changing some of the information in here. First thing we're going to do is come in here and put our company name in. So I'm going to edit this, and we're going to put in machine block. This is D size, so we're going to put a drawing number in here. Just putting in the information in the book. And we're going to have a version of 01. And here under the name, you could put your name in. And we should put a date in here. Okay. To get back to the drawing sheet, we can just hit this little return arrow. And now we're back on the sheet layer. We can call up the view palette by coming over here and select our machine block by going in here. So we got to find this drawing. So I've gone into the chapter 16 on the basic book files, and I'm going to find the machine block here. Now as I click on that, you can see that I have various options to drag onto my sheet. And I'm going to start by clicking and holding and dragging the front view right onto the sheet. Now it's got auto project views on, so as I move above the part, it's going to create my top view. As I move to the right, it's going to create my right side view. Now we could add our isometric view in here, or we can close out, and as we're instructed, we're going to hit the View Layout tab and go to Model View now, and we have our machine block, and then we can select our isometric view and put it in this way as well. Now we can change the scale on this isometric view by hitting custom scale and dropping it down to 1 to 2, and click here and hit OK. I'm on page 16-10 and we're talking about moving the views around. You're going to want the ability to change the position of these views on the sheet to make things look a little neater. Notice that when you drag the front view, the top and right side views are going to move along with it. If you drag these, they're only allowed to move left and right because they're locked in the correct positions relative to the front view. The isometric view is independent. We can move that around wherever we want to. Now, the author talks about breaking the alignment between views, which is an option. If you right click, you can go in and go to alignment and break the alignment, which allows you to move that view independently, but generally speaking you don't want to do that. You can also realign it by selecting that view and having it attached to its parent view. Okay, so just to recap here, we have an isometric view here. We have our standard 3 views: front view, top view, right side view. One might argue that this is really looking at the side of the object, and why would you say that that is the front view when folks might say that this is the actual front of the part. The front view is the view that gives the most description of the part, best describes the part. This shows most of the features of this part, and in true size and true shape as well. So this one was selected for the front view. Okay, we're going to create a detailed view now. So we're going to go back to our View tab, and we have the option up here of creating a detailed view. We're going to sketch a circle in the top of the bottom left-hand corner of the front view, and I'm just going to click somewhere in here and drag and create myself a circle. It doesn't need to be exactly the same location. When this pull-out comes out, we can make some adjustments here. We're going to leave it as per standard. It's going to be full outline as opposed to and change our scale, it looks like. Oh, the scale is 2 to 1. We'll leave that as the default. Okay, and I don't know where they want this position. I'm just going to set it right here for now. We can move it around in a moment. It looks like I need to move my sheet around a little, some of these drawings around a little bit. So try to make it look a little bit more like the book on page 16-13. So I'll grab this view and take it over here, and this probably can come over a little bit. So we're something like that. So we're going to create another projected view here, projected view. Before we create our projected view, we're going to select the view that we want to project from, which is our front view. Projected view, and I'm going to create the back side now. Moving on to 16-14. Now we want to create an auxiliary view. Auxiliary view is generally created when you have a surface that has some details that is not it's not parallel to one of the primary orthographic views. In other words, this is the front view here, and this plane is not parallel to the front view. It's off at an angle. So in order to give true size and true shape to these rectangles and give location positions, we're going to want to add an auxiliary view. So we're going to come up to auxiliary view, and when you're adding an auxiliary view, we need to select the edge that we're referencing. It says please select a reference edge to continue, and it's this edge right here that we're going to select, and whoops, we want to put it up on the other side. Why it's there we go. All right. We can toggle this arrow on and off, and you'll notice that it just puts a little reference arrow pointing to that surface. We can break the view's alignment, but generally speaking, I think it's a good idea to leave things in position so that it's easier to read the sheet. All right, the next view type we're going to create is a section view. So I'm going to say OK to that. We're going to go back to our View tab and create a section view. Okay, we're pulling that section view off of our right side view here, and we want to select right here in the center of this hole so we get a peek at what's going on inside here. Now we have some options. Okay, I clicked and placed that view. We have some options over here regarding the scale and so forth. We can flip the direction of our sectional view looking at it depending which way the arrows are pointing. All right. Covered quite a bit in one sheet here, and we've got a little bit more to do, but we've got our three standard views, we've got a detailed view, we've got another projected back view, an auxiliary view, which is so that we can detail out the location of these holes. We've got our isometric view, and we have a sectional view. This is most of the view types covered right here. We have not done a cutaway view or broken out section. We'll probably get to that in just a second here on 16, but before we do that, we want to change the view type. Excuse me, not the view type, but whether the hidden lines are displayed or not. So we can select the front view's border, and we can change the view type to display hidden lines visible or not visible. Now in the book here, the author has just the front view displaying hidden lines, and when I select the front view and change it to hidden lines visible, it does that for all of the views, and I'm not quite sure how we get that to just be true on the front view, but I'm going to move on. Okay, we're going to create a broken out section now. So again, on our View Layout tab, we're going to select the broken out section, and we're going to try to create that shape shown on the bottom of 16. So I'm going to come in here and draw a series of the spline command. Just come in here and create something like that. Going back and redone the broken out section because I forgot to select the preview option and change our depth to 0.5 inches. So this is the depth of that broken out cut. Just wanted to be consistent with what we have here in the book. Okay, I believe the last view type that we're going to create is a cutaway view, and first we need to add another I believe they're looking for another isometric view. So we're going to go to Model View, Isometric, put that here, change the view scale 1 to 2, and I'm going to go back to the top of my drawing view here, and the reference configuration. You may remember back when we drew this part, we created a suppressed view, we created a cutaway view of this part. We're now going to reference that cutaway that we've created when we built the part, and we can show it here on this. Okay, reading here, because this was created in the model view, there's no cross hatch lines, and we're going to add those in just a moment to show that this was cut out. Notice when we created a sectional view, our cross hatch lines are present. This cutaway, we need to add them. So in order to add these, we're going to hold the Control key and select these faces, and again, I selected my view, selected these surfaces, make sure that they're all highlighted. Then we're going to go to Insert, Annotations, Area Hatch Fill, and we have some options over here regarding type of hatch fill. We're going to go with ANSI standard iron brickstone. We're going to go with a 1.5. Oops, looks like I have to type that in. Keeping the angle the same, and it doesn't look like there's a preview option here. I'm going to hit OK, and there we go. Okay, so now just zooming out, you may want to move some of these things around a little bit, neaten up your drawing. I've got these arrows visible on mine. I'm going to pull this down a little bit, pull that up a little bit. That looks pretty good. Don't know why those are on. There we go. That looks good. So we could on page 16-20 shows modifying the cross hatch that was previous set. So we can change that by coming in here and editing this. And picking a different material. So we can change this to aluminum. So we can ANSI 38 aluminum. Where is that? There we go. And notice that changes our pattern. I'm going to go back and put it to what it was. Okay, let's save this. And this is chapter 16. Machine block. Okay.